The stadium lights of the Bernabeu don't just illuminate matches, they illuminate decisions that shape eras, and a transfer whisper now threatens to rewrite Real Madrid's defensive story. Ibrahima Konaté, a 26-year-old France international who has developed into one of Europe's most imposing centre-backs at Liverpool, is reportedly on the verge of agreeing terms to join Los Blancos when his contract expires, but this is not a conventional player, joins club line. The reports claim Konate has set one simple but seismic condition. He wants a guaranteed starting role and has asked that Antonio Rüdiger and David Alaba make way for his arrival. That demand, if true, hands Florentino Perez a choice that will define the club's next generation. Fans imagine the shirt, the aerial dominance and the pace that Konate would add to a backline. Executives, though, are forced to weigh loyalty, hierarchy and the optics of moving veteran leaders out to make room for a newcomer. Konaté's profile explains the appetite. Tall, fast, commanding in the air, and increasingly confident with the ball at his feet, he represents the modern blend of power and technical comfort that fits a team built to control both possession and transition. Under Xabi Alonso, who wants a defence that can press, build and cover wide channels with intelligence, Konaté would offer physical leadership and the mobility to pair with younger prospects, a blueprint for a renewed centre-back, pairing with academy talent such as Dean Huijsen. But the wrinkle is not tactical, it's institutional. Antonio Rüdiger has been a fiery presence, a winner of big matches, and David Alaba's experience and versatility have been invaluable. Asking either or both to leave would be more than a transfer decision. It would be an adjustment of club identity. From a management perspective, Madrid's declared desire to refresh the squad, and the fact that both Rüdiger and Alaba reach contract endpoints in the coming cycle makes the calculus more plausible. It's one thing to plan for a handover, another to accept a player's explicit condition as the price of a deal. For Liverpool, losing Konaté, a defender who has been a regular starter since arriving from Leipzig, would be a blow, and the club's posture about renewal versus cashing in would shape conversations across the Premier League. For Konaté himself, the option to sign a pre-contract in January 2026 with a foreign club is a tactical reality that has changed the balance of power between player and parent club. The market logic is blunt. A free agent of Konaté's profile gives Madrid a chance to secure a long-term leader without a transfer fee, but the internal fallout must be managed. Locker room dynamics, wage structure, and the message to homegrown prospects and established internationals alike. For the coaching staff, the question becomes, does Konaté immediately step into a starting two and form a complementary axis with a youthful partner, or does his arrival usher in a short, painful transition where veterans depart and new hierarchies are established? The fan reaction will be split between excitement for a long-term defensive anchor and nostalgia or concern for players who have already won titles for the club. On a timeline, the critical dates are clear. The January window for pre-contract discussions and the summer when contracts formally expire and squad lists are rewritten. Between now and that deadline, expect brief-catching headlines, a flurry of tactical analysis, and a commentary stream from across social platforms as supporters and pundits weigh identity versus renewal. At the centre of it all sits Florentino Perez, who must decide whether to accept a deal that arrives with strings attached or pursue alternatives and protect current personalities in the dressing room. Either path carries risk. A refusal might cost Madrid a top defender. At the moment they aim to fortify for both domestic and European battle. Acceptance reshapes a dressing room and signals an explicit generational handover. For neutrals, the saga is one more example of how modern football's contract mechanics and star power produce decisions that are as much about culture and control as they are about tactics. Watch the January pre-contract window in the coming weeks closely. If Konaté's ultimatum holds, this could be remembered as the day Madrid chose a new defensive era, and one of the last great chapters in the careers of two senior defenders was rewritten under the Bernabeu lights.